But we do have breaking news in the NFL. The Denver Broncos have made a big trade for Jaylen Waddle, the wide receiver from the Miami Dolphins. So the Broncos trade for Waddle and a fourth-round pick. The Dolphins get back a first-round pick, the 30th pick in this year's NFL draft, the first round. They also get back a third, and the fourth is a swap. The two fourths are swapped between the two teams. So Jaylen Waddle now heading to the Denver Broncos, a major weapon for Bo Nix and Sean Payton and this offense for a team that got to the AFC Championship game last year. They now add a great wide receiver to the mix.
Well, and the Broncos hadn't done anything. You know, they hadn't signed any free agents. They hadn't really done anything. And Broncos fans were kind of sitting there saying, why are you sitting on your hands doing nothing? You've been creating cap space for a while here, sitting at free agency, reorganizing deals and renegotiating and creating signing bonuses and moving pieces around and creating the space. And they were wondering, are you making a move for A.J. Brown? What are you doing here? What is going on with the Denver Broncos that were so close? And obviously, Bo Nix suffered the broken ankle in the AFC Championship game, or in the game getting into the AFC Championship game, and then they didn't make it to the Super Bowl. And so because of that, that's why they didn't make it. But when you're that close, you expect a team to start adding more. And the fact when they started in free agency, not adding anything, you're just sitting there wondering, why not? And then they pull off this move with the Miami Dolphins, who are obviously tanking, who added Malik Willis as their quarterback, who are going to be paying Tua Tagovailoa's contract for the next 2 years, upwards of $90 million for the next 2 years, split somewhat evenly over the next 2 years. And then they acquired Jaylen Waddle here, who last year had 900 yards, 6 touchdowns, but it was with Tua and it was Snoop Huntley were the two quarterbacks throwing to him. So one of them was cut and one of them was a backup quarterback. So take it for what it is. Jaylen Waddle's a good wide receiver. And if you pair him with Bo Nix and if you pair him with Sean Payton as the head coach, an offensive genius, obviously we know what Sean Payton's capable of. This is a great addition to that offense. And now Broncos fans can be happy with what this team has done. Now the wait is finally over. They give up a first-round pick, but to me, it's worth it. I talked about how if the Patriots are going to trade a first-round pick for A.J. Brown, and it's going to be the 31st overall pick, it's worth it. The same goes for the Denver Broncos. If you're trading the 30th overall pick for Jaylen Waddle, it's worth it. Because drafting a player, a wide receiver at 30 who you don't know, it's still an unknown. Like college can be, you can say it's great in college, great wide receiver, but you still don't know. Jaylen Waddle is a proven commodity. He's a good wide receiver, had 900 yards. I said 6 touchdowns. And now you know what you're getting in Jaylen Waddle. He fits in this system with Sean Payton and with Bo Nix. I would much rather trade this first-round pick, a third-round pick, and then a fourth-round pick swap. I would much rather do this and go all in and know what I'm getting than draft the unknown in this year's draft.
So Daniel Jeremiah on the NFL Network, he posted this on social media about 20 minutes ago, and I think that it's a very smart opinion when looking at the Denver Broncos and their ability to add Jaylen Waddle to this roster. This is what DJ had to say. He said, the Broncos roster doesn't have many obvious holes. They're going to have a hard time finding immediate impact with the pick 30 in this draft joining their current roster. This is a needle mover player for them. Waddle impacts the box counts, and he creates space for everyone. And I think Daniel Jeremiah makes a great point there because this Broncos team is loaded. They're ready to go. They're ready to compete for a Super Bowl, and they were almost there last year. And if Bo Nix doesn't get hurt, he is likely playing in the Super Bowl. And it's not the Patriots that are facing off against the Seahawks. So we could rewrite history, but essentially what the Broncos have done here is they address their biggest need, going out and getting a wide receiver and adding to a team that's ready to win right now. And I think that's the question that I have for people on our text line today. 310-840-4910. Text the show. Who's the best team in the AFC? Because we talked about this last week, and then early, at times yesterday, we mentioned it, that you and I view the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens as the two best teams in the conference. And then, as we had those conversations, it was like there were also two teams that were with young quarterbacks who kind of achieved a little more than we expected them to last season. And those were the Denver Broncos and the New England Patriots. And we would try and stack the conference and figure out who is the best team right now before the NFL draft in the AFC. A move like this for the Denver Broncos moves them right into that category with the two other teams I just mentioned, Baltimore, Buffalo, Denver. Those are clearly the three best teams in the AFC. So who do you think? What do you think? When you look at the landscape, text the show, 310-840-4910. Who is the best team today in the AFC?
Well, when you look at it in terms of quarterback, like if you look at the different positions based on those three teams, right? Quarterback to me goes to the Bills. It goes Bills 1A, Ravens 1B, and then if you want to go Broncos, Bo Nix is third, obviously, on that. I still think he's got a lot to prove. That's not saying he's not going to be great. He's young. He's still new in this league. Obviously, Josh Allen's been around for a long time, and so has Lamar Jackson. They've accomplished a lot. Lamar Jackson's a two-time MVP. Bo Nix still has a long time to get to that point. So right now, that's no slight on Bo Nix. He's still very new in this league. I'm obviously going to go with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson over those two players. That being said, the Broncos last year, based on which website and metric you want to go with, had the best offensive line in the NFL.
Yeah.
So they were protecting him. He was running the ball well. That team was he was moving well, and Sean Payton got the most out of that offense. And we thought going into that game against the Bills that the game plan was going to be different than it was, that he was going to have to throw the ball, that he was going to have to run the ball a lot. They ended up throwing the ball more. So it was a lot of Bo Nix really asserting himself and using his arm, which is something that we didn't think that he was going to be able to do. So I think that he can take a big step, especially with Jaylen Waddle. You look at the defenses, the Ravens add Trey Hendrickson, a huge addition. That kind of puts them closer to the Bills, to me, whose defense was abysmal last year. It's why their coach got fired, because they had a defensive-minded head coach, and their defense was bad. He gets fired. They bring in Joe Brady as an internal candidate. So now you've got the Broncos, who have a really good defense. I think it's kind of even between those three teams. I would still stack it. Bills are the best team. Ravens are second. Broncos a close third.
Each and every day on the show, Raj Sharon produces the show live from Denver, Colorado. A mile high. Are you high on the move? Raj, your thoughts. This is a big deal for the Denver Broncos. You're a die-hard Broncos fan. Is this what you were waiting for?
Yeah, I like the move. I mean, you guys, we kind of teased last week because literally the Broncos, we're not over-exaggerating. They hadn't signed anybody. They were the only team in the NFL that hadn't signed anyone. And we were trying to figure out, why are they creating this cap room? This is exactly what they needed. If you told me going into the offseason, what do the Broncos really need? I would have said they need an explosive receiver who can get downfield. That's the one thing they're really missing. So I think it fits in great. I don't think they would, Abdalla, you nailed it. I don't think they were going to get anybody at 30 that was going to help them as much as Jaylen Waddle is going to presumably help them. So, no, I really like the move now. You combine that with Nix coming back. Dobbins is re-signed now. The entire offensive line that Abdalla you just mentioned was ranked number 1. They're all back. All 5 starters are returning next year. I really like the position that they're in going into the season.
All right, so earlier in the week, Aqib Talib kind of predicted this. Was this yesterday, Raj? Where's this audio from?
This was yesterday from the podcast that he does with he and Skip Bayless.
We will have an offensive new explosion player on offense. Just know that, Skip. Just remember, I told you that. All right, Skip? It will be a new.
Are you saying you have inside information?
I'm just telling you, Skip.
Okay.
It's, when it break, just say, oh, yeah, Leave said that.
Okay.
So I do my thing. You know people. I know people.
So Howie's already got a handshake deal with the Broncos to send AJ to Denver.
I ain't say all that. That's you. You
Oh!
said that. We will have one, though.
So there you
Who's
go.
owing in the background?
Think of the host of it was the one
hold
owing.
on. I thought, is Skip still on TV? What is
I think
this?
he just does this on Twitter, maybe YouTube.
He's got a first take in his home?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
is
He's got
going
like an
on
It's just
here?
him in his basement, just
right.
doing takes by himself.
He's got a whole TV set, the whole thing.
Yeah, I think he does.
The last time I saw his podcast, he and his wife were talking about something that I don't think anyone wants to hear.
I don't think anybody
Skip
needs
Bayless's
Skip's
opinion
take on that. Yeah.
It's called the Arena. Yeah, it's called the Arena.
The Arena.
Yeah,
arena.
that's the name of it, the arena. And Aqib
no.
is on
He
it
can
a
be the
lot.
man in that arena all by himself.
I see what you
I think
did.
Richie
When it-
Incognito is on there sometimes. Another former Bronco, TJ Ward, is on there. So yeah, it's the same thing you had on Undisputed. It's like him and a bunch of a crew
random-
around him. And he has a host. There is like a host. That
If you would have told me that was just a button that he pushed,
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
it was just someone going, "Oh!"
I was trying to figure out what that is. All right, that's great. So that's the side on the Broncos, right? So who's the best team in the AFC? You can text the show 310-840-4910. On the flip side, the Miami Dolphins get back the 30th pick in the first round. So now they have 2 first-round picks. They also get a third rounder. They have the 4th from the deal. And essentially, Miami is just trying to revamp and rebuild in one season, which I'm okay with. And I think that's the best way to do it. Here's the list of picks the Miami Dolphins have for this upcoming draft. They have 2 first-rounders. They have a second-rounder. They have 4 third-round picks. They have a 4th-rounder, a 5th-rounder, and 2 7s.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to talk about trying to rebuild your franchise, moving all of the money off to the side, and yeah, we can say that the Malik Willis signing is terrible, because I think it is. Outside of that, clearing the deck and getting back all of these picks, you get back that many third-round picks, those should be starters if you draft well. And you get back 2 first-round picks, you should be drafting high-caliber players who will be ready to go, ready to play, and ready to be impactful within the next 2 to 3 seasons.
Well, and if you go to DraftKings right now and look at the win totals, it's the Miami Dolphins and the Arizona Cardinals that have 4.5 wins, the lowest 2 totals on the board. And those are the 2 teams that we know are tanking. But right now, the Dolphins are the ones that are pretty much juiced to 4.5. Like everybody thinks that they're going to be the ones that get to 4 wins. So I would say right now, the Dolphins are the team that might end up second, and the Cardinals, just because of quarterback play. Like Malik Willis isn't the worst quarterback. I think that the Cardinals right now might be a little bit worse.
Yeah, and that I think that's open for the conversation. And there's clearly going to be a couple of teams that are just really bad. And I think like in the NFL has avoided teams that are flat out tanking intentionally. You know, you might get a team that's without a quarterback for most of their season, or by the time they get to the end of the season, their head coach has been fired and you can tell that they're not really playing for anything. It does feel like there's a couple of teams already heading into this year that are already, they're not going to try to win because they want a quarterback next year in the draft. And that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, when you're at the Cardinals and you're debating between Jacoby Brissett and Gardner Minshew right now, and I think that Malik Willis is better than both of them, but you're taking away Jaylen Waddle, your best threat. We already know that there's no other weapons on the Dolphins team right now. Like, what's Malik Willis supposed to do? Obviously, you're going to draft players and you're going to start building. But as of right now, it's the march for Arch is on. and whoever ends up with the first overall pick, second overall pick, because we know how rich of a draft class next year's is for quarterbacks.
Well, and you weren't here the day that we talked about it, the report cards from the owners, from the players on the owners of the report cards.
Yes. Yeah.
And Miami scored really well.
Yeah.
They were number 1. So if you look at, if you're a young quarterback in college and you see what Miami is setting up to do here, getting all these draft picks and you have a chance to join a team with a bunch of young players, like, yeah, they're not going to be any good this upcoming season. But I think this is the right path for the Miami Dolphins to take at this time. So the big trade today in the NFL, the Broncos trade for Jaylen Waddle, the star wide receiver. The 2 teams swap 4th-round picks. The Dolphins will get back a first-rounder, the 30th pick overall, and a third-rounder.